Tonight on Newswatch 18, hear about the challenges of driving in the chilling winter weather.
And see what role women have played in the history of science and engineering.
I'll tell you the latest in cyclone sports.
We've been riding a weather roller coaster over the past few days, but we'll be warming up by the weekend. Just how warm will we go? I'll let you know coming up. You're watching Newswatch 18.
This is Newswatch 18. Newswatch 18 starts now.
Good evening, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Newswatch 18. I'm Delaney Lawrence.
And I'm Jenna Urich. Iowa State psychology professor Christian Mesner is leading an international research team developing new interrogation methods designed to reduce false confessions. Investigators have been criticized for using harsh interrogation tactics. The research is funded by the High Value Guillotine Interrogation Group, or HIG, which includes personnel from the FBI, CIA, and Department of Defense. The result of the more than 60 published studies that examine everything from the dynamic of an interrogation to assessing the truthfulness of a sentence. Research has found that fidgeting and nervousness, once considered indicators that a suspect is lying, are unreliable. Recalling the truth from memory produces a narrative that is more coherent, has greater detail, and includes more corrections than false stories. Investigators can better detect lies by asking unanticipated questions that are related to the event or topic, or asking subjects to recall their story.
The East Coast has taken a hard hit the past couple weeks due to severe snow. The snowstorms, specifically in Buffalo, New York, have already reached over 5 feet. Schools have been closing and roads have been backed up. There have also been a few deaths reported due to these storms. Citizens are advised to stay safe throughout this harsh winter.
Grandma Mojo's Moonshine Revival is a student-run improv comedy troupe on campus. They perform on various Wednesdays at the maintenance shop during the semester. The comedy group will be performing this Wednesday, December 3rd, for their last show of the semester. The doors will open at 9:30 p.m. and the show will follow at 10 p.m. at the M Shop located in the Memorial Union. Admission is only $1.
The end of the semester is quickly approaching. Prior to winter break, students will take their final tests for each class. The week before finals week is what students call dead week, where all club meetings and extra coursework not listed on the syllabus at the beginning of the semester are prohibited. Students are expected to study for upcoming exams during this time. After finals week, first semester will come to an end.
Winter weather means it's time to take extra precautions during travel. ISU's Tyler Tweeten went to the Iowa DOT office here in Ames to get some tips on how you can avoid being stranded in a ditch during bad conditions.
Hey everybody! Heart disease affects one in every...
Today,
Winter is upon us, and that means cold temperatures, blizzards, and icy roads. What can you do to stay safe during your winter commute? John Hart with the Iowa DOT has some helpful tips on staying safe this winter and how to be courteous around other drivers on the roads.
Specific to the winter conditions, a couple things. First, know the conditions. So we recommend that before people make their trip that they go out and check the web pages that we have out there for information on the roadway conditions. And our web page is www.511ia.org. Secondly, drive to the conditions, so reduce speed when we have snow and ice. It takes longer to stop when we have snow and ice on the road. So based on those conditions, you're generally going to be driving well below the posted speed limit. And then we also recommend leaving plenty of clear space between you and other vehicles around you. So if you do have to stop, or if something occurs in front of you, you have the ability to make a maneuver without hopefully losing control of your vehicle.
Hart also has some tips on how to drive when around a snowplow.
If you are around or driving around a snowplow, a couple things to remember. The vehicles, the plows have blind spots, so we don't recommend driving directly behind them or to the side of them in those blind spots because they can't see you if you are to pass. So you have to make sure that you can see everything around that plow and in front of it. If you do have to pass on the left-hand side. Never pass a plow on the right-hand side, because a lot of times we have a wing down there doing additional plowing on the right-hand side, and it could be clouded or hidden in a lot of the snow that's blowing up around that wing.
For more information on how to be a safe driver this winter, check out the Iowa DOT winter driving website linked to this story. For ISU TV, I'm Tyler Tweed.
The new Star Wars movie, The Force Awakens, released its first trailer on Friday, November 28th. The trailer already has over 30 million views and is a highly anticipated movie for next year. The film will come out in December of 2015. This will be the 7th Star Wars film, but the first one that is owned by Disney. However, original director George Lucas will still have a significant part in the making of the new movie.
The 8th annual Andy Albright Memorial Jingle Jog is this Friday, December 5th. The Jingle Jog is a 2-mile fun run weaving its way through the Iowa State campus. The run will begin at Beercher Hall and end at Curtis Hall, with hot chocolate to warm you right back up. The run will begin at 5:30 p.m. at Beercher Hall. There will also be a contest for the best costume, so make sure you are decked out in your holiday clothing. You can register the day of from 4 p.m. to 5:15 p.m. at the Multicultural Center at the Memorial Union. The cost is $20 a person. The proceeds go towards a fundraiser for a scholarship in Andy Albright's name. And now we're joined by Paris at the desk. Paris, what's the latest in Cyclone sports since we've returned from break?
Well, postseason play is about to begin. I'll tell you more after the break. Stay tuned. You're watching Newswatch 18.
Hey everybody! Heart disease affects 1 in every 3 women in America, but you can fight back. There's no time to lose. Mothers, sisters, daughters, families, and friends, it's time to shout louder, stand stronger, and demand change. Let's go!
To the Batmobile. Dang it.
To the invisible jet!
Dang it.
Together, we can put an end to heart disease. It's time to go red for women. I could use your help. Yeah! Learn more from the American Heart Association at www.goredforwomen.org.
Today, 1 out of every 4 American kids is Hispanic. That means many of the future doctors who will care for us, the engineers who will build our cities, the scientists and entrepreneurs of our country can be your kids. We all know how hard it is for you to send them to college. This is why we want you to know you are not alone. And every day, more people support you to make it happen. Many support you. And the Hispanic Scholarship Fund helps you prepare, plan, and pay for your kids' college education. Learn more at hsf.net.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
The Cyclone women's basketball team entered their Thanksgiving stretch in California with a 67-63 loss to St. Mary's on Saturday. This was the first loss of the season for ISU. The Gales got off to a 17-9 lead on the Cyclones, controlling the momentum of the game into the second half. ISU posted an 11-0 run in just the last 4 minutes of the game, cutting the Gales' lead to within 2. However, St. Mary's was able to hold on for the victory. Senior Bryn Williamson led the Cyclones with 14 points and 8 rebounds on the night. She earned her 32nd career double-digit scoring effort and moved into 7th in Iowa State history with 590 three-point attempts. Williamson was named to the St. Mary's Classic All-Tournament team, joined by fellow senior Nikki Moody. Iowa State will return to Hilton Coliseum this Sunday when they host Stony Brook at 1 p.m. The ISU wrestlers suffered their first loss of the season when they fell to first-ranked Iowa in the Cy-Hawk duel last Saturday. The Cyclones quickly fell behind in a 15-0 start before Michael Moreno got on the board with 2 takedowns in his victory over 5th-ranked Nick Moore. 6th-ranked Tanner Weatherman faced off against Mike Evans of Iowa in the 174-pound match, eventually falling 7-3. Two-time All-American Kyvan Gadsden earned the second win for the Cyclones, extending his 35 dual match win streak with a 6-point pin over Chris Claprod. This is the 3rd time in 5 duels that Gadsden has won by fall. True freshman Dante Rodriguez recorded a loss to 6th-ranked Josh DeZiwa in his first start as a Cyclone. ISU sophomore Gabe Moreno suffered a late takedown in his match against Brandon Sorensen and could not escape from a 7-6 defeat. ISU will return to the mat in Las Vegas this weekend at the Cliff Keen Invitational. Despite a loss to West Virginia last Saturday, the Cyclone football team still has reason to celebrate. Senior center Tom Farniak has been invited to participate in the 2015 NFLPA Collegiate Bowl in Carson, California on January 17th. The bowl was created in 2012 and has gained credibility as one of the top postseason all-star games for college players. Farniok is the second Cyclone to play in the bowl, joining former All-Big 12 linebacker Jeremiah George, who played in 2014. Farniok is a 4-year starter for ISU and has recorded 46 career starts in the Cardinal and Gold. The Sioux Falls native is a 2-time honorable mention Big 12 selection. He was a member of both the Remington Award watch list and Werfel Trophy watch list. Tight end E.J. Bibbs will also play in a postseason All-Star game at the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama on January 25th. The two seniors and the rest of the Cyclones will end their season in Texas this Saturday when they face TCU. The ISU volleyball team also has plenty of reason to cheer this holiday season. The Cyclones earned their 9th consecutive postseason bid on Sunday and will travel to Champaign, Illinois for the first and second rounds of the NCAA tournament. The Cyclones face a tough battle in 24th-ranked Western Kentucky this Friday in Illinois' Huff Hall. ISU will be led by junior Caitlin Nolan, who was named the Big 12 Libero of the Year on Monday. Nolan continues the tradition from former Cyclones Kristen Hahn and Ashley Mass, as this is the 7th consecutive year that an Iowa State Libero has won the award. Nolan also earned a spot on the All-Big 12 first team and was joined by senior outside hitter Victoria Hurt. Freshman Alexis Conaway was named to the All-Freshman team and Big 12 honorable mention. And that's it for tonight's Cyclone Sports Report. Are we looking at another temperature drop this week, Zach?
Actually, our temperatures are going to be warming up over the weekend. I'll let you know how warm they'll be going coming up after the break.
It's harder whenever there's a bigger group. Pretty much a good day for me would be people leaving their hands off of me. I'm always called names. Everywhere that I go, there's always someone calling me names, calling me gay. I've been choked, thrown up against a wall, punched. Nobody's ever tried to help me.
So, I got this new family, and I don't know what it is about this one, but she can't seem to put down that toy. Oh, and she even talks to it. Who's she talking to? Her mom? She talks to her mom a lot.
Congrats on paying off all those student loans.
Finally, right?
I'm kind of living paycheck to paycheck right now.
Well, have you tried saving?
Bill collectors, they're the worst. Am I right?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
And welcome back. If you were here over break, we really experienced a temperature roller coaster going back to Thanksgiving, back on the 27th. We were at 19 degrees, and by the weekend, we warmed all the way up to 47 degrees, and we took a sharp cool down by the end of the weekend. And by the Saturday, we cooled off into 31, and then on the Monday, we went to 15, and we started to really gradually warm up across today, up to 36, and that warming trend will continue all the way through the weekend. However, a cold front will be moving through the state tomorrow. Now, this weekend, the winds were quite a bit of a factor. They were gusting up near 30 miles an hour, which added an extra bite in the air. However, they're sort of calm today, between 5 and 10 miles an hour out of the southeast. Now, that hasn't had an impact on our wind chills. Over the weekend, it did. We had wind chills up near Mason City near negative 25 degrees. Here in Ames, we were at negative 5. So our wind chills have improved quite a bit over the last 48 hours. Now, we've had a little bit of snow and a little bit of mix. Now, none of this is reaching the ground as we have too much dry air near the surface. However, the upper levels are picking it up, and that is because a cold front is up to our north, and that's where it's going to stay. And it's sort of just bringing some clouds into northern Iowa, so we're not expecting much in the way of precipitation. The low pressure system's all the way up in Canada and dripping that cold front all the way across southern Minnesota. So that is going to swing through our neck of the woods tonight, and that was all it's going to do is it's just going to switch our winds out of the northwest. Right now, they're out of the south-southeast. So tomorrow, we're looking at some slightly cooler temperatures because of that wind shift. Now, right now, we're at 23 degrees here in Ames, 29 in Des Moines, 25 in Ottumwa. It was a beautiful day, and like I said, 23 in Ames, mostly clear conditions with those winds out of the west-northwest at 5 miles an hour. They'll continue to switch purely out of the north-northwest tonight, and they'll eventually pick up a bit cooling us off by tomorrow, and our dew point is at 15 degrees, and that's why none of the snow is reaching the ground this evening. And if we go ahead and take a look at our highs today, we reached a high of 36, so a lot of that ice that may have been on the sidewalks continued to melt during the afternoon. Council Bluffs was a warm spot at 43. Now our lows tonight will be dipping down to 18 here in Des Moines, or excuse me, in Ames, 11 degrees in Mason City, and that is because that cold front will continue to slide through the area. Not going to impact our temperatures, like I said, a lot. However, it's just mainly going to switch our winds out of the northwest tomorrow. Now our highs tomorrow will be slightly cooler than they were today. We're looking at a high of 28 in here in Ames, 33 in Des Moines, 36 out in Council Bluffs, and 32 out there in Tacoma with the cooler temperatures because they had more snow up there across northern Iowa. Now there is that cold front that will continue to slide through the area tonight, and we'll have just a few clouds sticking throughout the evening. Not expecting precipitation with it. It's going to be a very dry cold front, and it will continue to slide to the southeast by early tomorrow morning. And we're looking at a low of 18 tonight with those partly cloudy conditions. The wind chills may be around 10 degrees at times. Those winds will be gusting up to 20 miles an hour on the backside behind that front, with those northwest winds at 13 to 15 miles an hour. Now we're looking at a high of 28 tomorrow. Those wind chills will be slightly cooler because the winds will be gusty tomorrow, and we're looking at wind chills at times near 5 miles an hour. So you may want to bundle up. However, the warming trend will continue on Thursday with a high of 33, overnight low of 23. And then we take a look. We're warming up into the weekend, and by Sunday we'll be hitting a high of 40. So it's going to be fantastic, and the warming trend continues through early next week.
Being a woman and in the science field is a hard task to accomplish. Associate Professor Amy Bix illustrates the history of women in science and engineering.
Children dream of becoming a doctor, lawyer, or engineer. But what are the chances both women and men will have equal opportunities in the field? On a campus where science and engineering is in the university title, the history of engineers, women engineers especially, are just surfacing. Girls Coming to Tech, A History of American Women's Engineering Education, chronicles the history of women engineers at the college level and the entrance of women into the engineering field. The work is an in-university job by Amy Bix, Associate Professor in the Department of History at Iowa State University.
I did some research right here at Iowa State. I also worked at Caltech and Georgia Tech and MIT and Rensselaer Polytechnic in Minnesota and Texas, whole bunch of schools, because it really is a national story.
She could find some information on women in science or medicine.
But when it came to the history of women in engineering, I really literally couldn't find anything much for my students to read. So the first time that happened, I said, oh well, we'll work around it. The second time it happened, I said, gee, somebody should really write a book about this. And then the third time it happened, I said, okay, I'm going to write the book.
So why the struggle finding information on women engineers? Bix says this is because of the types of opportunities and job locations.
A lot of engineers in the 1700s and 1800s got their start literally on the job. You learned to be an engineer by going to work on the Erie Canal or in a railroad shop, but women aren't really going to be accepted in either one of those places.
The same went for military positions and school acceptance. The key to integration in engineering at Iowa State?
Since the 60s and 70s, you've had the creation of all sorts of support programs for women in engineering.
The WISE program, Women in Science and Engineering, in which Nicole Kittleson is a mentor. Fast forwarding to the present, Kittleson says that she still experiences a "you can't" attitude from some.
I think sometimes society sees women as kind of, that's not that they're like smart enough to be in these fields, or I don't know, people have looked at me like, why are you here? I don't know, I had a woman at a career fair look me up and down and go, if you want to look pretty every day, this job is not for you. So, I don't know, I think it's kind of just a stereotype that people have on women.
Bix also says there are problems getting women involved in engineering.
Once women got to college, they needed support, but they realized that it was almost too late, that if women ruled themselves out of engineering and science early on, they might not take the required math courses in high school, and then they'd have trouble catching up.
She says engineering programs now reach out to different community groups, getting girls ready for their college engineering studies. Kittleson works to help these girls, both at the college and grade school level.
In my classes, there's very little girls in each class. I know some of my girls for peer mentoring say that they're one of all men in their classes. So I'm not exactly sure why that is, but I think it's growing.
Working as a mentor for the WISE program, Kittleson spends time with her mentees talking about career opportunities and upcoming WISE events. Kittleson says by having the support groups such as WISE and SWEET, participants can get to know one another at the WISE office located at 218 Carver. This office and its staff host a variety of events throughout the year, including educational programs, workshops, and trips abroad. And as for reading about these advancements in the field,
you can find Amy Bix's book here in Parks Library, as well as other books about women in engineering.
Whether you're visiting the Carver Hall WISE office, the Parks Library stacks a short walk to campus to find out about a growing history of women in engineering.
With photographer Kate Tyndall, I'm Michelle Shoney for ISU TV.
And that's it for tonight's edition of Newswatch 18.
Be sure to tune in on Thursday for more Cyclone news, weather, and sports.
Stay warm, Ames.